Hello. So one of the most common videos that people ask me to do something on is talking about the role of HR in tackling issues of race and racism and structural racism, etc., etc. This isn't a video about that because, to be honest, to do it justice, I think I'd need about 20 to 30-minute videos, so too long for this purpose. But I do want to pick up on one aspect of what I think that HR need to do differently here. So imagine you're a HR person, not to the extent that you feel like I'm attacking you because you're like, oh my God, but just so you can understand what I'm saying. One of the things that we are taught, either formally through education or just through our experience of following employment law to the letter, is you've got to be fair. You've got to be seen to look at every side of a situation, particularly when issues become formal, right? So you can't just go in guns blazing, as somebody says. That's like a good phrase. I've never seen HR go guns blazing in anything, to be fair, myself included. Because don't forget, my background is in HR, so I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this. So we're taught to kind of see, you've got to see both sides of the argument, you know, you've got to, innocent until proven guilty, although I've been in some cultures where the starting point is guilty until proven innocent for some things, just to make it clear. One of the things that we have to recognise in HR is that there is also our inability to push past our own discomfort when talking about race. Right. So if you are a white or a non-black HR person, the worst thing you can do right now is be preaching to your business about what steps that they need to take to be anti-racist, because you've been on a webinar, you've read a book, you know, you've done all of the like the tick box things, and you're not conscious of the work that you need to do yourself. Because the way that manifests itself is when somebody comes to you, an employee comes to you and talks about how they feel based on an interaction with another colleague, their line manager, etc., etc. Or they want to raise a formal complaint as part of a disciplinary issue. Or they want to raise an informal complaint, but it is actually should be treated as a formal complaint because it is about racism, discrimination, or prejudice, or, you know, whatever else it is. As HR, if you are not comfortable talking about race, talking about structural inequalities, talking about inequitable practices, talking about racial injustice in terms of how it manifests itself in your business, then understand that is a big blind spot for you to be able to do and support, to do a service to all of your employees, but particularly your black employees, and you're actually doing them a disservice because it means that you're not doing the work yourself. Somebody commented on one of my LinkedIn posts over the weekend. Some black employees are sharing some stories about the Ellen show, right, and just some of their experiences. One of them, so there's two comments that I led with the caption. So bearing in mind, most people read the caption and they never bother to read the articles, or like they see the clip of my video, they never read the whole video, and they never listen or watch the whole video, so then they comment on just that one clip. I don't know whether this was the case here, but it is a good example. So the caption said, one black woman basically started, she had box braids, and there was apparently another woman in the team who also had box braids. And the white line manager said, oh, you've both got the same hairstyle. How am I going to be able to tell you apart? That's point one. And the second one, a black woman was going to, you know, like a social gathering or whatever, and was being introduced, you know how you do, like she's new here, whatever else it is. And another one, white, I think he was quite senior, turned around and says, well, I only know the names of white people around here. Oh, God. I tell you, it is shocking. So that was kind of the caption, you know, to read. And literally the article was just talking about some black people who were sharing their stories and experiences of working on the Ellen show and blah, 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 blah. And so this person said that when they have investigated all the facts and they feel comfortable, then they will come all guns blazing to go and go and investigate or whatever else it is. I'm not picking on the individual, I'm just using this as an example. And that's part of the problem in HR. Because we're so focused, and like I said, I have been there, so I know this. When we're really focused on the policy and the procedural element, it's like we get tunnel vision, because we're just like waiting to talk to the employment lawyer who says like, did you? And dare I say, sometimes we lose like common sense. Do you know what I mean? So as HR people, you've got to do the work yourself, and you have to understand what things that you have to unlearn. Some of it about life, some of it about society, some of it about structural racism, but also understand what are your blind spots in this. Are you that HR person? Because there's plenty, even now, who still, it's so ingrained with you how we approach all employees that you're still thinking, oh my God, like it's great that we're going to do stuff for like, these black employees, like it's really important. But I worry that everybody else is going to feel like they're not important and etc. Or are you one of these HR people that still needs more time to soak all of this in? So because you need more time, you are unable to deal with some of the challenges that are being placed at your doorstep from your business in terms of race, discrimination, prejudice, etc. Or are you a white person who still fundamentally believes that all lives matter? And because you believe that your business is very fair and very transparent in the way that you do things, and you might talk about the fact that, this is what we do when, we go out to diverse communities when we hire, we do blind CVs, we, et cetera, like that magically means you have solved structural racism. Because if your starting point when challenged is to list all the things that you do as a business, that means you're not yet ready to pay attention to understanding what really needs to change at this level. Because again, what you're doing, if you're not careful, is centering yourself and making it about you, meaning because if you've been talking about this for a long time, and this is the other thing that people have to be aware of, like the dimensions and the dynamics with all of this, the light and shade is, as HR people, and I'm not in-house so I can say this, but if we've been tasked with sorting out inclusion and diversity within businesses for years and years and years, and all of this has happened, we're thinking, shit, like that's going to look like I haven't done my job. So when the CEO or the employee or somebody external says, like, what is your business doing? You then, our starting place is to go, no, we've done this, because that's not about confronting the issue. What that is trying to say to people, but I have done my job. And I go back to, with all of this, you have to put yourself on the back burner and understand that you have not understood the context. You have not understood how deep this is. So to be honest, a lot of the interventions that you have put in place will not solve this issue of structural racism within your business. That's the important thing that, we need to remember. And I look at other professional bodies in HR. I'm not going to name any names because those of you who work in HR know who I'm talking about. And again, the starting point is assuming, do you know what I mean, that everybody understands what it is to live in a white supremacist world, what it means to have to live within a space where, because white people feel uncomfortable in talking about race, that conversation gets stopped dead, even within HR. And if I flip it and think of me in HR, because I know how uncomfortable white people get when talking about race, and remember, most of the businesses I've been in have been majority white. Like, I've been the only black person in a whole business. I've been the only black person on a leadership team. Not in every business, but, in lots of businesses. Listen, I worked in one business that had 40,000 people, like literally spot the black person, apart from the frontline teams, literally, right? So because I'm very conscious of the colour of my skin and how people have responded to me, what that means is, even I don't challenge and push hard enough, because I don't want to make it about my skin colour. I'm trying to avoid people saying, but you're just saying that because you're black, so I pull back. So therefore, if I was still in-house as a HR person now, so I'm saying, you know, to white or non-black HR people, this is the work that you need to do. There is separate work that I would need to do as a black HR person, and that is rethinking about how I navigate this world now and not letting other people's discomfort stop me from speaking up and doing what's right and doing the right thing. And that means to put myself in a position of vulnerability. But that's different, but that's still work. So, as I said, I can't answer everything in like one video, but I do want to plant this seed about, you know, as HR, our shit is also not on point with this. It hasn't been on point with this. And I'm seeing enough examples of groups, of forums, of webinars, and I'm listening to some of the comments and I'm just thinking, oh my God, right. So, you know, as you know, I will always go for what I feel like leadership teams need to do and do and do and do and do. But listen, HR is a whole different kettle of fish. Because I'll be completely honest, and you know I've shared in previous videos, some of the comments and the conversations that I've had that I have been most disappointed with has been my conversations with HR people across the board. That's not a blame thing, I'm just saying. And as I said, remember, that's my background, 17 years. I can't undo that. I'm not saying there's not great HR people. Oh my God. I'm not saying there's not HR people that aren't leading from the front who've got the memo. In the same way, I'm not saying that, you know, about diversity and inclusion specialists. Yes, there are great people. Yes, there are not so great people. I know it's a spectrum. I know not everybody's universally great. But if we want to talk about this as a profession, that we are here to try and enable businesses to do better, and we have to lead leaders, and we have to lead managers, and we have to lead employees, but also be there for them. We have to get away from thinking that when tackling issues of race and racism, it's about giving people the benefit of the doubt, but also about making sure that we as individuals are comfortable to be able to address it before we address it. That's what I've got the problem with. Because as a white person, if you're not comfortable, and I don't know who is really, I don't know, there's not that many, I'm sure there's plenty, but you know, there's not that many white people within HR who are comfortable with dealing with race. For a different reason. It's the same reason why there's a lot of black people that wouldn't be. Shouldn't stop us from going there though. And we have to recognise that our discomfort could potentially be a blocker, so we have to push past that. It's not enough. I don't accept this whole thing about when I'm comfortable. Because as an employee sat on the other side of this, I must sit and wait for my HR person to be comfortable to go and investigate this properly. And my other challenge is, what is needed for you to be comfortable when somebody blatantly does or says something racist? Why do you feel the need to give people who exhibit racist behaviour or who say racist things the benefit of the doubt? Why is that? And you have to be able to question that. Like, I haven't got an answer for you, but that's the sort of work that as HR people you need to do. As a profession, you know, I'm half in and half out, depending on my mood, but you know, like sometimes I own it and then sometimes I go, no, but that's fine. That's my prerogative. You know, but that's the thing that I'm questioning, and this is the start of the work. And unfortunately, there is not enough focus on helping HR people understand that their biases, their prejudice, some of the ways that they have been conditioned, their belief systems also needs to change, alongside the fact that they have to lead their businesses. Because actually it's a worry for me that there are HR people leading who are not also doing the work. So I think that's enough. Lord have mercy. I think that's enough before we, you know, I'll be here all year, not even all day, all year talking about this. There is no one individual, no one group of professionals, no one industry who does not have to do some work with this. Some of it is work as individuals for different reasons, work as organisations, work on a societal level, and. But the second we sit in judgment and feel like it's for us to preach to other people, whoever we are preaching to, we are then part of the problem, not part of the solution. See you tomorrow.